back to the VHS Student Podcast. We're here with another Grind My Gears segment. James Gorder and I are hanging out in the Brave Cave today, James.
Yeah, well, you know what really grinds my gears, Nico? Warning labels grind my gears. Like, why do I need to have a warning label on a lawnmower? I know that there are two spinning blades of death under there. Why would I be so stupid to put my foot under there?
See, here's the thing. Warning labels are put on things to warn people about the stuff. But if you have to have a warning label to tell you something is dangerous, I don't think you're qualified to be using said object that has the warning label. Like a weed whacker, for example, right? You shouldn't be using a weed whacker if you don't know how to use a weed whacker, because a weed whacker will take your toe off in about 10 seconds and you won't even feel it at first. It'll just, and your toe is gone. And there's nothing you can do about it because your toe is laying in the middle of your lawn. And if you have to read a warning label to tell you something's dangerous, you're not qualified to be running said equipment.
I understand putting warning labels on like things that like wouldn't be completely obvious. Like, hey, don't put this in water; it could explode. I understand that, but when it comes to like something that is blatantly dangerous, like that should be common sense. And if it's not common sense, I mean, Darwin's theory of evolution is pretty, like, natural selection should be implemented.
Right. Exactly. Like, if you are too stupid to read a warning label, if you're too dumb to read a warning label, right, knowing that this is a dangerous, like, obviously a lawnmower has two spinning blades underneath it to cut the grass. A weed whacker has spinning twine, spinning faster than you can even see. It's going to take your toe off, okay? But you don't see warning label, where you see warning labels where they should be is like on Legos, like baby could choke on this. Like, that's fine, right? Like, it's a warning. Be careful, baby can choke on this. A little kid might read that, can't give him to his little brother. But if you're an adult, male or female, who's trying to weed whack their yard, and you're like, I wonder what this thing does, and you go for it, and then all of a sudden you chop up your toe, and then you're like, well, I didn't know it was going to do that. Well, okay, here's the thing. It's a spinning blade of death. If you go near it, you're going to die. I mean, there's a reason that these things are used to cut things, not, pat them down and put them to sleep.
Well, you know what else really grinds my gears here? I think hypocrites grind my gears, Nico.
I see that.
And I'll tell you why. Like, as an example, if I were to like screenshot a tweet about how being mean is really embarrassing and driven by self-hatred, and then I were to go and take a steamy dump on my best friend's self-esteem, that would make me a bit of a mean person, wouldn't you say?
Well, exactly. And it's like, if you can't walk the walk, don't talk the talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to give it out and take it at the same time. And if you can't do both, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I mean, it's hypocritical for you to, be able to go say something to somebody else, and then somebody says something to you, you just absolutely freak out about it and act like they're the mean one. When, I mean, even big example is when you're, messing around with your friends in the locker room. Sometimes, that can get taken a little too far, but like, say you're just having good fun and all you're doing is messing around. Somebody says a joke. Somebody else shoots back a joke. Somebody says a joke to you, but you don't like that joke. And so instead of shooting it back, you take it and then shoot this even worse joke right at them, but then act like they're the one that's in the wrong. That's hypocritical, and it's not fun, it's not smart, and it's really overall just doesn't make for a good time at all.
Yes, and if you do any of these things, you are a silly goose and you should get back in the pond.
One thing that really grinds my gears, and this could go along with the hypocrites thing, is participation awards. Okay.
Yes.
Participation awards. Here's the thing about participation awards is the fact that you're awarding for somebody for not being as good as the other guy, right? Like, you're going to give somebody a trophy when they're not as good. Now, I get it. When you're a little kid, participation award, good, right? You build up their self-esteem. But if you're like, say at a track meet, you're not in the top 8, okay, so you didn't place, per se, right? But I don't think if you got 9th and 10th that you should get a participation award. Like, yeah, you showed up, you did your best, that's fine. But I don't think you need a trophy that says, hey, you showed up and you did your best.
Right. And that's like, here's the thing. If I go and work, I'm working towards something. Like, I'm working towards that top 8. If I suck and someone's still giving me awards, it's not going to be that burn. It's not going to burn as bad when I don't get it, because I'm still going to go, hey, here's a piece of paper. Thanks for coming. Like, no, that doesn't work.
Right. Like, if you go to the Super Bowl, right, only one person gets the Lombardi Trophy, and if you don't get the Lombardi Trophy, if they don't give you thanks for trying. They don't give you an award for that, because it's not supposed to feel good to lose. It's supposed to sting. It's supposed to hurt, and you're not supposed to get a participation award for going out and not being as good as you could have been.
Right. And this one's been a bit of a heavy episode, so we're gonna end with something kind of fun here. You know what grinds my gears, Nico?
What's up?
Yield signs. Yield signs are stupid.
Yield signs are just a recommendation, and I don't know why we need them. Okay, if you're gonna go as far to using yield signs, you know what grinds my gears even more? People that stop at yield signs. Because here's the thing about yield signs: they are not stop signs. They are a recommendation to slow down and look both ways before you cross the street in a place where there might not be a stop sign. Why do you think that on some of the left turn arrows, some of them are just a green circle and it says yield if circle is green? That means you can go, but it doesn't mean that you should go should somebody be coming at you. It's a recommendation. And that's why you're only supposed to go when the green arrow that is indicating that you can turn left is on. They don't put them there to help you stop. It's not a safety thing. It's just a yield sign. You just go up to it, you slow down a little bit, maybe, and you look both ways. They're just a recommendation. But then people treat them like stop signs, and that just really grinds my gears. Because you walk up, or you're driving up, all right, you're in a rush to get somewhere. Say there's a yield sign in between you and death because you have to make it to the ER, right? You're driving yourself. Your arm is literally in 2 pieces. You're bleeding all over your car. There's a yield sign between you and the hospital. And this girl that drives a little Pontiac Grand Prix stops at this yield sign because she's got to get to work. And you are just sitting there like, my arm is in 2 pieces. You're not helping me. So you honk. Well, she's treating it as a stop sign. And all of a sudden a car comes. Now you're 5 minutes late and you're trying to get into the ER and your arm is in 2 pieces. And this is why yield signs are a recommendation.
I agree. They're two different shapes for a reason here, Nico.
Yeah, like one's an octagon, one's a triangle, right?
That's
yield signs upside down triangle. Upside down triangles don't make any sense. So why would you listen to an upside down triangle? Has anybody ever drawn an upside down triangle in math? No. Okay. You draw regular triangles because regular triangles make sense, and you're supposed to listen to regular triangles.
Well, I think on that note, I think we'll wrap this one up here. Good segment.
It was a good segment. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys again next week.